Welcome to the winner's match of Group C. This is, of course, the ASL Vanguard Season 4. This is the round of 16, and spawning as our red Terran player in the northern position on Overgrowth Ellie, this is noMADe.
We were looking up whether it was German, or noMADe was German in I just screwed up everything. I don't know. We were trying to figure out how the name was said. Okay, I'm getting lots of strange things from Cybert here, but in the bottom left-hand corner, representing 440 Gaming, it is the purple Zerg, Zode. For like 1 second there, I was like, I should totally say Zode. And then I like completely backed off. But we do see, starting out of this, noMADe going for a Reaper fast expand. And I mean, he may get some damage done, but ideally he's just going to scout, see the one gas, and get out.
Yeah, potentially that's what will be happening. Of course, if this gas continues to be mined past 100, we could be looking at some banelings, but at least speed will be relatively quick for Zode. And he did go hatch gas pool, but it was like an 11 racks, 12 gas, which is just, I don't think it's actually different than 12 gas, 12 racks, 12 gas, but it's like technically different.
Okay then.
I don't think there's a real difference though.
All right, no. Yeah, there's one beats the other one in a mirror, but they don't. Versus other things are the exact same. I can't actually remember which one beats the other one though. I know one of them is more. But yeah, we do see noMADe moving into the main. Speed is being gotten, and these Lings will try to push back this Reaper, but this Reaper just hanging on for now and working on what is speed should be done or not. No, sorry, that should be done. Speed still has like 100 seconds left, but it'll see when it comes in.
Yeah, we do have the reactor being added on to this barracks and a factory as well. Potentially, we're looking at a 1-1-1 sort of follow-up, but of course, it's going to be that 2-base 1-1-1. And of course, he did halt Reaper production after 2, so we're not necessarily looking at a queen-killing force of Reapers, but these Reapers can do damage if they go unchecked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. If the Reaper count starts to get up more, only at 2, if a lot of damage could be done, but for now, these Reapers are just going to kind of back off. There is a queen at the natural, a second queen also on the way in the natural, and I'd love to see, normally you'd see the third queen a lot earlier, but I'd love to see a third queen get out just to start the creep spread of Zode on this map, because you can do a lot with it on Overgrowth. But for now, noMADe will pull back, and creep won't be really necessary for at the moment.
Yeah, noMADe pulling back. He also adds on a third CC. It's already halfway done. And of course, his natural is transforming into that orbital as well. So he does swing over with his Reapers to that right side. He checks the third base of the Zerg. He's like, okay, I am way ahead as far as bases go.
Yeah, definitely, and he's getting out these Hellions. You're saying, I don't think he's not necessarily being greedy, but definitely in TVZ you need to get some early damage down. There is a nice surround by these Lings that with speed, and actually nothing dies for noMADe, surprisingly enough. He will pull back, both Reapers survive, and starting to get these Hellions out, and it's looking pretty good for him right now in the moment. Now third base down too. Yeah,
I mean, with that, with the third hatchery just now being established, I mean, the orbital isn't that far ahead, but it is certainly ahead, and everyone likes to talk about triple mule, which is the position that noMADe is going to be sitting in, but more Lings being added on for Zode. He's going to have a healthy number to shut down any potential Hellion attacks.
Yeah, I completely agree with you with the Lings, and especially with 2 queens out. 2 queens, this amount of Hellions will be 2 queens, but it is enough of a little bit of an incentive not to go in for that attack. We do see on the left-hand side, Lings, going in for attack. Actually, okay, they do go in for the attack. They do see the bunkers and these supply depots down, but at the third base of Zode will be getting picked off for now. There's no creep, or no creep out, so it's going to be hard to get there.
Yeah, this hatchery fortunately does have a lot of HP, which means these Zerglings and Queens, if careful, might be able to push away this attack. But how much latent damage are they going to be taking from the Hellions and the Reapers? Not too much. Now the Zerglings do join up with their Zergling brethren that pushed out a little bit earlier, and noMADe will be forced to pull back. He doesn't want to commit too hard to this attack, but he was able to confirm that third base, see the timing, and even do that slight bit of damage.
Yeah, for noMADe off the back of this 1-1 is on the way, especially off of, he's currently on 2 gas, which is really going to power him for quite a long time, especially off this starport, and looks like he's just kind of transferring into bioplay, which I think is a really, really cool idea from him. And his opponent, Zode, is actually going up to layer. I was kind of expecting maybe some roaches out of him, but I'm not sure yet, only on 2 gas, not super telling of anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, he is transferring like you were talking about, or transitioning like you were talking about. The macro hatch going to be helping out with, I guess, the Baneling production, which, I mean, Zergling Baneling can be a very powerful move. We'll have to see if it's into mutas to help out this composition, as that is a very common choice for Zergs, especially going up against Bio.
And on this map, too, Overgrowth, just Ling Baneling is very, very common on this map, in TBZ at least.
Yeah, now the Widow Mines are starting to be produced 2 at a time, and those are, of course, one of the essential pieces to the puzzle as Terran. You got the triple racks, soon to be 5 racks production, and then that starport will be double pumping medevacs. So those are all of kind of the pieces which you normally see from the biomine composition. So noMADe, if he can get his... Oh, nice supply block there. But if he can get his macro rolling, we saw him crush through in the previous matchup. He could do the same thing here.
Right now, though, Zode has a little bit of a window of opportunity. Baneling Nest is done, and Combat Shield is not complete. Actually, as I say that, it is almost done, only about 30 seconds away. Or wait, sorry, only about 10 seconds away. But, I mean, if he would have attacked just a little bit earlier, all his lanes, they would have slaughtered these... actually, there's no Bioforce with this kind of forward force. I thought those were Marines, not Reapers. I take back what I was going to say. I redact my statement.
But the 1-1, like you were talking about, finishing up for both players. And Terran players often are looking for that 2-2 timing. We'll often see skirmishes before that, but really there's a big kind of timer that goes off with 2-2, which sometimes... Oh, these Hellions could actually get completely surrounded here. The Lings looking for those optimal angles.
Yeah, losing 2 Hellions right there. Reapers will be surrounded and completely picked off. 3rd Hellions may go down. That entire forward forces move down. There isn't a large Bioforce from noMADe. No Hellions with it, and a lot of Widow Mines, though. And not really in position. Lings won't move in, though. They're just kind of holding back. 1-1 is done, like you were saying. And +2 weapons, at least, is coming down for noMADe. Well, Centrifugal Hooks, which is Baneling speed, is on the way for Zode. And combined with his creep, he's looking pretty powerful right in this position, especially on a 4th base.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad not to see the +2 armor also starting for our Terran player, but you got to hand it to Zode. He's saturating up that 4th base, climbing up to 84 workers, which is quite a healthy count, and he's also got those 2-2 upgrades to match. So he's getting Spire, 4th base, he's got all of that tech and eco moving into the next part of the game.
Yeah, for a second right there, actually, Zode had a... Or is it right, Zode? Yeah, sorry, Zode had a Ling on that Xel'Naga tower, and it was not on not on hold moves, on attack moves, so it went out to attack the army, but the entire army of noMADe did not move into that Xel'Naga, so that would have been a really nice little catch of what was going on right there, and he knows his army is coming in. Banelings are on the way, and since Combat Shield is done, when they hit, the Marines will have 1 health left, so it's going to be a little bit interesting how he's going to clean this up.
Yeah, we do have those Widow Mines leading the charge, and everyone knows Widow Mines can be a make-or-break unit. They can do insane amounts of damage, or do nothing like they
Friendly fire.
There, yeah. Ooh, those Overseers absorbing those shots.
Marines and Banelings in from the right-hand side, and actually the entire Widow Mine's cleaned up, and the rest of the Marines and Marines and Marauders had to be pulled up into this medevac, and pretty much the entire army was pushed back, but actually medevac saying, you guys can't shoot up, screw you, and going into the 3rd base, but ooh, Zode being a little bit indecisive here, which he definitely does not want to be against a Terran that's good at dropping.
Morphing those Banelings directly on this Bioforce. He's like, get out of here, you can't do anything.
I thought he was making a wall. That was really cool for a second. Like,
he's
wow,
going into Corruptors, though, which is something that we see Dark do, that heavy Corruptor sort of focus, and then, oh, these medevacs are actually just getting cleaned up. They're trapped.
Yeah, recently Dark kind of stumbled onto the... I don't want to say stumbled on the scene, but at least in GSL and Code S, he just kind of came in and said, you know what, I use Corruptors, and I use Ling Baneling Corruptor, and does a lot with that, which is really good for defending, especially on Overgrowth, and especially with this creep spread, defending any attacks in, and with the great map control of Zode, he knows this is coming. But yeah, the entire army, so many Lings, man.
Yeah, he's got that huge Ling Flood, which Zerg players have been so effective with. Shuts down the drop. The Widowmine does not get the burrow, and even if it would have, the Overseers are there for the pickup. Now, the Corruptors, if they can get a good angle on those on the medevacs, that's their key. They want to clear the sky of medevacs so that the Terran player can't do anything.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to stop all the medevacs from doing anything, and especially dropping. Now, the one thing I'm worried about here for Zode is if a noMADe gets tunneling claws, he just moves on to all those widow mines, and I mean that's like 50. If one of those widow mines went off with tunneling claws, it would take out 50 or 60 lanes. He's got to be really careful about that.
Yeah, if he lets himself get too clumped, especially with these Banelings, and already earlier in this game, there were some curious Baneling detonations, which maybe weren't, well, no, they definitely weren't perfect, and they weren't even cost-effective. But this next engagement, oh, these Widow Mines, like you were talking about, this is a huge clump.
Yeah, lots of Banelings going down, a lot of the Bioforce actually going down at the same time. The third base was attacked, which pulled back a little bit of the units, but right now Zode doing really, really powerful. 38 links on the way. GG! Zode takes game 1 of the winner's match. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Vanguard League Round of 16. Group C winners match. It is in the bottom left-hand corner of Deadwing, currently up 1 game, and representing Heaven vs. Hell Gaming, it's the Red Terran, noMADe.
But in the northern position, across spawn, our purple Zerg player, this is Zode, up 1-0 in this best of 3.
Zode also representing 440 Gaming, just to throw that in there. I know a lot of these clans, I have the luxury of casting this all the way from the round of 32, so I just know all the clans. It's really nice to also know, but yes.
Good to know. Yeah, I don't know these guys nearly as well as you do. noMADe heading out for the scout.
They're my friends.
Of course, this hatchery first is going to be the friend of Zode. Hatch into pool for Zode, and he's not too worried about, pumping out a ton of Zerglings, trying to go for that quote-unquote meta play since it's Deadwing.
As I feel like every caster, anytime you get into 4-player of the map, like, it's wait Nate, wait Roddy, we could see a 6 pool here, and like, nah. But every caster, like, come on, the possibilities. But no gas for
just earlier today we were talking about that, and we saw the 8 pool.
Yes, we did, actually. Yes, we did. Zode going for no gas here, and I'm guessing he's going to take a third base off of this, being a little bit defensive here, and may take a quick third base, just trying to save whatever he can, cutting those corners. While on the other side of the map for noMADe, he's not looking too aggressive, but I think once we're going to see this factory switch for the reactor, Hellions are going to be scary, but Zode has a little bit of a buffer because it is a 4-player map.
Yeah, he went the gas first into the, I'm assuming it's going to be the 1-1-1. He does have 2 components of that, and there's the SCV popping out for the starport. And yeah, it was like 11 gas into 1-1-1. The 1 base play, which can do a lot of damage. Some players like to go some Hellions into Widowmine drops. Other players like to pump out a lot of Hellions. And noMADe, we've seen him in other matchups go for that. Actually, no, that was the other guy who went for a super heavy Hellion play.
Yeah, that was the very first player here. But from Zode, I love what he's doing right now. He's playing a little bit more like Scarlet used to play, and actually using one of her builds from the very beginning. That's what I thought it was going to be. He will be getting out 4 queens, and using, he's going to do some crazy creep spread, which will help him versus these Hellions and defend the Hellions, but not the drop so much. So this is going to be interesting to see how this is going to kind of transition and play out into each other.
Yeah, now the drone moving out for the third base is for Zode, just past that 5:30 timing, and the first medevac is on the way. Now these drops, we've seen them from Zode in the past, we've seen them from noMADe in the past. Not always spectacular damage dealing. Like in the last game, Zode was on top of everything, and noMADe wasn't able to do the damage with drops. Potentially here, bigger map, bigger opportunities.
Queen's not in the ramp right there, and these Hellions will picked off before they actually get there, but... Oh.
I mean, he has picked up 3 drone kills for now. I'm not actually sure if he's going to be able to pick off too many more since the Zerglings are here with the Queen support. 5 drones going down. Not too shabby, but he did trade out all 4 of those Hellions.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. Did get a little bit of damage done there, and I mean, really, that's the majority of that was a nice scout. And as I was saying, early third base, not super early, but definitely early right there. And I would say I started lagging a lot and didn't want to start breaking up, so I just stopped saying anything. I was afraid I was going to break up.
Which, I mean, for me, there was no problems, like you weren't compressing on Skype or anything.
Oh, I wasn't? Okay.
Yeah, no, you were completely fine. But a couple more Hellions going to be coming in. These last 2 from the main have managed to survive. And into the natural expansion goes noMADe. He's roasting away these drones, and he's going to get himself a couple more kills.
Yeah, picking up a lot of kills here, surprisingly enough, for the amount of queens Zode has. He does have 5, and like I was saying, this is going to be great to defend. But you have to have those queens at the ramp, or have a wall between the natural and the third. But this third is going to start getting picked away now. These queens will push it out back. 3 queens deals with 4 Hellions quite nicely. And actually, they could kill them if they had a little bit of creep right there. But 8 drones killed so far in that poke up in the natural, I should say.
Yeah, now the CC is, of course, extremely late, but the Armory is actually being added on at almost the exact same time of the CC, just a few seconds behind. With the medevac heading out across the map, these Hellions transforming into Hellbats, if that is indeed the plan for noMADe, this could be extremely powerful. That heal is so good.
Yeah, the Armory is on the way, and that always makes me laugh. It's kind of, are you healing the guy inside? But yes, there is a drop into the main. Medevac goes down. One of the Hellions actually gets caught off guard, and it's really the keys. One Hellion does not do much. It's when you have 2 to 3, they can really get those crossfires going. They can do a lot of damage, but Metabolic Boost is only now finishing, by the way. These Lings will be able to catch it up, but in the natural base, Hellions move in, kill a lot right there, and so far it has been 18 workers dead.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that with these attacks, noMADe is staying ahead in the workers count. I mean, he's able to actually power enough workers just on that 1 base eco to keep up with his Zerg opponent. Of course, he doesn't have quite the same mineral income, but with that second command center finishing up and a third one on the way, things are going to start to be evened up.
Yeah, actually, the Lings did a very nice surround with speed, and some Banelings coming in. Banelings don't need to be used, though, but the entire Hellbat force cleaned up. There's some more Hellions here, but not Hellbats left yet, and Banelings getting some nice detonations right there, and I think they'll pick off all but one. Will he? Wait.
Oh.
Come on, you got this, dude. You got this. I believe. I believe.
Zode! Oh, the medevac!
Oh, the medevac was so close. I believe right there, but these Lings going all the way to the other side of the map. And right now, noMADE's literally on 1 base. It is 33 to 28 workers, but still it's 3 base to 1 base.
Yeah, it's like he's getting to the point of almost oversaturation on that 1 base. And with this many Lings, I mean...
not more.
With this many Lings, I mean, he did double-check the fact that the natural wasn't taken just yet, and with that 1 Ling being left behind, he's going to see approximately the timing of that natural.
Yeah, he will. I mean, I don't even know if it's timing at this point. It's more just like, okay, you're finally going for your natural, and you're not, like, committing to an entire all-in here. But, yeah, he will see that one go down. Yep, moving in there. And right now, we see another drop on the right-hand side from noMADe. But in the main, I mean, finally Speedlings are ready, and a small group of Lings and Banes in the main. I think he's going to be prepared this time, and he's going to be able to push it off quite fine, especially with his creep spread connecting all his bases.
Yeah, he is reacting fast enough. His queens, again, like you were talking about, they're going to be in a perfect position to push this away. And once again, Zode just has this fantastic map vision, which, like, again, you were saying, is just leading him there. But the double upgrades on the way for Zode, powering him into that mid-game. And of course, he's had that 3 base, but now he's finally starting to saturate those 3 bases.
Yeah, now Hellbats are morphing in for noMADE right here. They are on the way. A little bit of move command there, actually loses a lot. And wow, medevac goes down, losing all 4 Hellbats. And one key thing there is he did not spot the layer in the main right now. So their Spire is going down, and at the same time while this happens is actually take the back. I was looking at Zode's view, and here our forces are under attack. So I'm like, oh cool, he's doing a counterattack. And I'm like, oh, Overlord just getting sniped. It's like, this is sick, man.
You think it's something big, you're like, oh man, attack at the nat... Oh, never mind. But yeah, that third orbital finished up, and of course into the triple factory play is noMADe. He's looking once again for that mech composition. Now, Mutalisks maybe the choice with the Spire, but lots of players that like to use that Spire for a little while, and then I know a long time ago people did the whole like Mutalisk Swarm Host switch, and then basically like force hard switches.
Yeah, the hard counters you don't have. These drones actually pulling around quite nicely, but getting caught behind these queens. Queens just barely not killing all those. That was kind of intense. Like, come on, give up. You're supposed to retreat, man. You're supposed to retreat.
Yeah. And then the drone's just like eternally circling the hatchery.
Yeah. Currently for Zode, he is at +1 attack, 0 defense, but for noMADe, same. Or wait. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, but this Pulse Viking, man, if it closes in on a couple more of these Overlords, we're talking a pretty serious supply block, and even with the 3 Overlords on production, well, I guess the Viking is heading in the wrong angle there, but he was so close to killing off 2 more Overlords, which of course would have been super annoying, maybe not game-winning sort of damage for noMADe. He is establishing that third base and starting to mule it, which is always good.
Yeah, it's really nice. He's also got the 4th base on the way, and he's starting to go in kind of the siege tank, actually, I'm going to take that back. He's starting to go pretty much into standard mech here, which I think is a good idea versus the current force. And it's also good because it's a situation where, yes, as mech, you can sit back and defend, but siege tanks allow you to sit back and defend against Baneling style. And as mech, that's exactly what you kind of want to do. You want to sit back and defend just for a little while until you get your 3 base economy up, and then you push out where you just have a constant refresh. It's basically the same thing as a bio line running across the map. Or a reinforcement line.
I'm not actually sure on this 4th base timing. I feel like if Zode would have gotten just a little bit more of a heads up as exactly what his opponent was doing, he would have taken that 4th base a lot faster. Yeah, right now Zode is pretty blind of his opponent, but these mutas will change that for now. Hopefully we'll get a scout in, and there's only 4 Vikings now. I'm not 100% sure on the math against Vikings versus mutas, but I think this is enough mutas possibly to overpower them. Yeah, I mean, part of it depends on whether or not they get good shots off with these Thors. As they are going to be pretty much magic boxing this first Thor. There is a second Thor getting some nice shots off. It's not fantastic. No, they don't actually magic box the Thor properly, which means the Thor is still alive, and these mutas are starting to take a lot of damage. They are a couple more going to go down. Viking and that one Thor doing so much damage here, and I mean, no, you want to move back, Zode. You do not want to engage into this. It's ideally what would have happened is those mutas would have first gone into the mineral line, got damage done, Thor Viking come over, and then they try to engage that, and then realize they can't all pull back. But he did lose a lot of mutas right there. I'm not sure how many, but I mean that's got to be at least 10 to 15. Yeah, I mean, he didn't do very well trading versus those, but the big swell of units on the production tab, it's roaches for Zode. He's also getting some Hydra upgrades mixing in with that 2-2, but more and more roaches on that production tab, and I mean, if he didn't know that his opponent was going mech before, which he did because he spotted the 3 factories, he is definitely going to be looking to transition into that more of an anti-mech comp. I liked your kind of different intonation of your voice when you said that. You're like, going for this, which he didn't find these 2. I don't know, but Bermuda's trying to move in. They will spot literally everything, but I mean, these 3 missile turrets pretty much are kind of boxing these mutas out. Now they may get the engineering bay, which will be a nice pickup for him. But in the 4th base of Zode, Hellions moving in, not Hellbats though. Roaches now coming to defend. There is Roach speed now, or actually, yes, there is Roach speed now. And no, they will clean that up for now, but I would love to see Tunneling Claws go down and burrow, just to see what may happen versus the mech style. Now, you normally see Ravens mixed in, but you also don't see Ravens mixed in until your opponent's like, okay, crap, I need Ravens now to deal with this. Yeah, I mean, different players, yeah, they like to go for the different things. This is a pretty heavy commitment into Banelings. It's not, I mean, this is a healthy number of Banelings. I don't know that these are actually going to be impacting very much. Actually, it's 29. That's more than even I thought there was out on this field.
Yeah, same. I was looking at him.
Infestation Pit is on the way, but maybe this is a little bit late. Of course, this mech player, like you were talking about, he's been on 3 base for a long time. He's established a 4th. He's powered up. He's waiting on the defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you were saying, with the amount of Banelings here, I'm a little bit worried because they don't have centrifugal hooks now. Now, they are kind of posturing out onto the map to see where they can attack.
But, I mean, they cannot engage without that, and I feel like I almost prefer them just to kind of hold back, keep macroing, and engage on creep, because with that amount of banelings, when you engage with speed from multiple directions, you decimate a tank line, because a tank line simply cannot move.
That's a very good point. Now, this Viking group, based out of the right side of this map, that is quite an overlord killing force. He may just be looking to end up trading off a lot of that supply, or potentially he's trying to hit some Mutalisk clumps. But Hive is finally on the way, and I mean, upgrades are racking up all over the place for our Terran.
Yeah, and also sorry, not double command center. There's another command center coming down. See, Zode is mixed in these Hydras. Yes, this is a very gas-heavy composition. But I'm a little bit worried. I feel like it's either going to do very, very well or get crushed. Now, it is all going to depend on his unit positioning, and like I was saying, this is really going to be key to spread his army out. And that was actually a beautiful scan for Zode, because it spots that part of the army, and he kind of looks at the army and is like, wow, it's a small army. Where is the rest of literally 30, 40 units on the left-hand side?
Yeah, now the kind of worrying thing for Zode, as far as I'm concerned, is he's going to be going up against so many of these siege tanks, but he's already maxed out, which means if he tries to go for some Vipers, which ordinarily would be part of this composition, Roach Hydra Viper, he's not going to be able to build them.
noMADe kind of took the bait for that, even if it was not really intentionally set there. Roaches on each time, a beautiful concave coming out of Zode, powering straight through noMADe's forces here. Lots of roaches. These roaches are at 2-2 against the tanks that are only at 1-2, and looks like the entire army of noMADE is on the retreat. He does have one siege tank, a couple siege tanks here. Zode's got to be careful not to overcommit, but he's in a lot of damage here. 27 more roaches coming out at the same time, and Zode powering through. Vikings probably need to land, but it looks like barely being pushed off, and I feel like those... Almost noMADe baited himself. He scanned the wrong part of the army. He was like, I can take that, moved out, and then just a beautiful concave from Zode. I don't know if that was intentional, but it was nice. It was really cool. Just kind of played into his hands.
That flank attack doing so much damage. A lot of those siege tanks didn't ever siege in that engagement. I mean, the siege was late to begin with, and then some of them still just never ended up sieging. We've got the 3-3 on the production tab for our Zerg player. Potentially, he's going to be waiting a little bit longer as his, Mutalisks are flying around, but he's got just so much production, so much economy in this game.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out that Zode is a very nice creep spread, but I'd like him to spread it kind of to the left-hand side of this map a little more, just because that's where he has been engaging and is towards the opening of his opponent's third base and now fifth base going down. And looks like Zode actually going to move in. Oh, only 2 Vikings here. If he can pick off the Vikings in small amounts, it's going to be very good for him. Actually taking out siege tanks here, though. And this is a great little pickup for him.
Yeah, moving in with those Mutalisks, sniping the siege tanks to clear the way for the Roach Hydra, which is now going to be pushing in, cleaning up every single Hellbat, and now the Roaches are on top of these tanks.
Those Hydras mixed in just do so much DPS against these tanks, which is really, you make tanks to counter them, but not when you got Roaches. And looks like the 5th base is going to be hit pretty hard. Attempting to siege up from these siege tanks, but they just cannot in this position. And actually deciding, I'm not going to go for that base, I'm going to go into the natural. And Banshee's going to slowly work away on these units, but they've done a lot of damage here. And off the back of this, 14 more Hydralisks and 3 Roaches, but Zode has a 2,000, 1,000 bank, and it's just his, he does not quite have enough larva.
Yeah, he's also pretty much almost maxed out once again. It's like every time he loses those units, he's almost instantly remaking them. He's traded so well in these last couple of engagements, and he's putting so much pressure on noMADe. He's up 1-0 already, so in this best of 3, Zode could be advancing out of Group C in first place.
Yeah, Zode playing super strong here, and I mean the Thors are out, but you don't really want Thors for this. I feel like noMADe made those Thors to kind of counter what he thought at least before was going to be a lot of mutants, but didn't really turn out that way. Zode may have to pull back for now, but I mean his army's being remaxed and really, really hard. He's actually almost completely maxed out here. Just army's not quite in the right position, and Zode is currently at 3-3 while actually noMADe's also at 3-3, just only +1 armor here, so a little bit scary for him just to attack into these Hydralisks, which do.
Yeah, that armor deficit is a pretty serious problem. This planetary getting focused. There's a lot of SCVs on the repair. Some of them may need to be focused down, but the planetary is going to fall, and this mech army is so slow to move in for the attack.
Planetary falls and 9 kills, but this mech army is getting actually sandwiched here. I just on the right side.
GG.